What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Wayne's World, and we are back with episode 6, My Thoughts on Child Support. I would like to give a very big thank you for the people who are subscribing, who are liking, who are following, sharing, commenting, everyone who support and interact with this podcast slash channel. I state channel because we are also on YouTube. I would like to give another shout out, I should say instead, to Mariano's Home Improvement. That's Mariano's Home Improvement down in Pennsylvania. If you live in Pennsylvania and you're looking to get your home remodeled for a very great price, please get in contact with Mariano's Home Improvement. With that being said, I'd like to begin my thoughts on child support. I understand that this can be a touchy subject for some people it may not be. But my thoughts on child support is the fact that I must say that it is very geared towards putting lots of men behind bars. I'm not going to state any specific ethnic group, but the general cause of it puts a lot of men behind bars. I say that because a lot of courts tend to side with the women no matter how much a man decides to fight for his kids in court. Even if he has a better situation, for some reason, a lot of places tend to side with the mothers. I personally don't see nothing wrong with the mothers having custody of the children, but I'm more of a everything should always be 50-50 amongst custody. As in half the year goes to the dad, half the year goes to the moms. It shouldn't really just be limited to a weekend thing, because sometimes that is still not enough time for a child to get acquainted with the other parent just 2 days out of a week. I have a scenario for some women who get with guys who don't really have tons of money. They have just enough to support maybe you and them and the kid that you have, or kids. They don't really have as much to go out their way to really have a lot of funds. And some relationships don't work out, and some mothers tend to put that father, that parent, on child support. Now, there's many of places, I might say California, maybe New York, they tend to really up the price per month for child support. Now, when that man can't afford the child support that they're forcing him to pay, if he's making $11 an hour and they're asking him to give up such and such amount of money as if he's making 20 something dollars an hour, that guy cannot keep a roof over his head, or at least barely doing that. Or sometimes he ends up going to jail because he fell behind in payments. Now, let's just say you have a son. He grows up, and let's just say he's in that same predicament that his father was in, where he makes enough money to get by and live comfortably, but not enough that he to have to pay an overpriced wage for child support. And the female that he ends up with constantly tries to push that on him, and it puts him behind on child support payments to a point where there might be a chance he can potentially go to jail for not paying child support. Do you defend your son towards this lady to try to get him off of child support? The fact that he shouldn't have to do this, he shouldn't have to do that, he does for this, he does for that? Or would you side with the lady and continue to push her to help your son go to jail because he cannot pay his child support that he is behind because he cannot afford to. Now keep in mind, this is the same situation his father was in when you were with his dad. And you put his dad behind bars. Possibly, not all the time, but possibly they could put the dad behind bars. How would you feel if your son had to go through that same situation? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like that. I completely understand if there's men who know that they're making kids, who want to make kids and just choose not to take care of them out of spite for any reason at all. Let's just say that y'all weren't together anymore and he just wanted to have sexual relations and that was it. He decides to say, forget you, forget the kid, I'm still leaving and walking out. I want nothing to do with the child as a father. By all means, take his behind the court. Hope they double, triple, quadruple what he has to pay than compared to what he earns. Because those are the type of people that need to be behind. But when you have people who want to be there for their child, despite relationships not working out, it shouldn't be right, or you shouldn't feel comfortable putting somebody in child support. Let's just say you shouldn't put somebody behind in child support's eyesight. Say it that way. They should be nowhere near anything regarding child support. Because not a lot of men have a lot of money. But everyone always preaches time with your kid is worth more than any amount of money. So if time is worth more than any amount of money, why do most women constantly keep pushing child support? Unless you have an agenda behind you pushing it. Maybe you know he can't pay it and it'll put him behind bars. Maybe he ends up talking to another lady and getting into another relationship and you don't feel comfortable with that. You don't like that. Is this a revenge plot? Is this why child support gets pushed a lot? Because it confuses me all the time when I hear people say, spend time with your kid, spend time with your kid. I don't want anything from you, spend time with your kid. But then these are the same people who sometimes go and put the dad on child support with intention on maybe getting him in trouble with the law down the line if he can't keep up with payments. I could say the same thing for some men. Some men would do for a child even after a breakup. But then when a lady decides to move on and gets with another male, he can possibly get jealous as well and say, I'm not doing anything for that kid. Tell that other man to do it. And I'm quoting things I've heard. I've heard that. And I feel like that's one of the worst things you can possibly say to someone when that is your kid and not theirs. Them stepping in as stepdads is a plus for them because they have to love their child just as they love their parent as well. But your child is going to always still look to see where their dad is at or what their dad is doing or if their dad is still involved with them. And when it gets to that case, it should all be a mutual respect from everybody. There shouldn't be no hostility from no party at all, because then that could potentially hurt the kid to know that his parents can't get along the way they should for him or her. fact that child support is here and we can't get rid of it, I have a recommendation that I've seen floating around, and I'm going to push for this recommendation because I feel like maybe it's a valid choice. That child support should be put on debit cards that only can buy kid things. Anything regarding kids is all the cards should be able to buy. I'm saying that because I've seen plenty of women. I've watched arguments. I've even been in a few myself. And I've heard things like, when are you going to pay me my child support so I can get my nails done? When are you going to pay my child support so I can get my hair done? A lot of times, this is what a lot of men have a problem with paying child support for. Even the ones who can afford it and just choose to say that they're not going to pay it and prefer to buy things the kid need themselves and keep receipts. Because a lot of times, men, we're afraid to give the money to child support or to hand cash over because many of times it does not go to the child. The child might have everything they need at home from the mother, and big shout out for the mothers who do that. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all keep it going. Take care of your kids by any means necessary. The kid can possibly have everything at home they need, and the money they get can be extra, but instead it doesn't go to the kid, it goes to the parent, and they tend to spend it on themselves. I've realized also how much money, I'm going to touch on this topic also, how much money is enough for a child? Like, from what age group should the money increase or decrease? I ask this because I think about rappers, I think about sports players, celebrities, people with a lot of money. And let's just say someone has a net worth of $3 million. Their child support that they have to pay a month is $50,000. Now, are we paying for the child to be taken care of, or are we paying for a lifestyle for them to have? Even the parents. Because I don't believe a child needs $50,000 a month to be taken care of. I don't think newborns need $700, $800, $900, $1,000, $1,100 a month. I believe $400 or $500 a month is a pretty good amount. A big box of diapers, 9 cans of food, some clothes. The baby should be alright for that month at least. Some babies may need more. Some babies may need less. I'm just giving a round estimate of what I'm assuming. As they get older, they might need a little more money, but then they become less needy. So as they get older, does the price drop or does it remain the same? I'm not sure about that. I mean, like I said, it is what it is. Sometimes we can't do anything about it, but that's just my thoughts on that scenario. I just feel like a lot of some mothers, let me say some mothers need, sometimes you have to think about the kid, not your own personal grief, Because sometimes your best healing could just be moving on. It didn't work out with the. It didn't work out with the man. So that means someone else could be waiting for you. Doesn't mean you guys have to stop co-parenting. Same thing goes for the fathers. It didn't work out with the woman. Your significant other could be out there waiting on you. Doesn't mean you stop being a father either. I just feel like co-parenting should be the only way to go about child support. The best child support is co-parenting. Because no amount of money that you give a child is going to replace the time that they need. And for absent fathers who don't want to pay child support or give the time, and to the absent fathers who just want to pay their child support and be left alone, understand, if you have a son, that woman cannot raise him to be a man and how to go about his business as a man. All she can show him is how to be nurtured and the type of woman he should want. Same thing for mothers. If you have daughters and you're not in their life, the father can't show them how to be a woman and how to conduct themselves as ladies. You have to be around for that also. I say that because there are some women who are on child support because the fathers have custody. Back to the fathers. If you have daughters and you are not around, it's going to be hard for them to understand how a man is supposed to love them. They're not going to know how to respect a man, how to be treated like a queen, none of these things if they have no understanding of what a man's love is. For the women, if you have sons and you're not around, a boy is usually attached to his mom very much. And if you're not around, he can miss that nurturing side of how a woman is supposed to nurture him. So when he grows up, he would not know what he's looking for in a woman unless you show him what he should be looking for. They say boys always want women to be their moms. No, it's the nurturing part of the motherhood is what we still want as men. Just like women need that loving from a man. This is why they date they always say this is why they date their types are always their father's type, because that's the man that they grew up loving. That's the first man that they loved in their life. So when they receive a father's love, they look for a spouse who can give that same type of love. This is Wayne's World, episode 6. This is my thoughts on child support. Feel free to DM me at talk_galore on Instagram. You can hit me up on Items Galore on Facebook.com, or you can email me at galoretalk@gmail.com. We also have a YouTube channel, Talk Galore Podcast /radio. Please give us a like, follow, subscribe there also. And for my Galorians who are listening and supporting, please keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it very much. And for my future Galorians, thank you for joining the family.